Hey, welcome back. So, look, I want to be straight with you today. The data is not great right now, and I think you deserve an honest breakdown of exactly what's happening and what the real risk levels are, because there are some specific numbers you need to know. Let's get into it. Bitcoin is at $77,223, 5 straight red daily candles, and the data underneath the price is telling a very specific story right now. There's one number from Glassnode I want to show you, 7.8 million Bitcoin. I will explain what that number matters so much in a minute. Okay, here's what the chart is telling us right now, and I will walk you through it step by step. The 200-day EMA at 81k, that's the average price over the last 200 days. We got rejected there twice, and now it's above us. That's the target to get back to, not the support. The true market mean sits at 78k. That's the average cost basis across all Bitcoin on chain. Basically, what the average holder paid. We're below it at 77,223. That means the average Bitcoin holder is now slightly underwater. And when people are underwater, they don't buy more. They wait. That's the headwind. Short-term holder cost basis is at $78,440. Short-term holders are people who bought Bitcoin in the last 155 days. Their average cost is $78,440. We're below that right now. So these people are sitting on losses, and when people sit on losses, they tend to sell when price bounces back to their entry. That creates resistance. The critical level, the 50-day SMA at 76,000, a simple moving average, is just on the average closing price over the 50 days. This level has held as support 3 times over the last 2 years. Every major analyst this week is pointing to this level as the line between uncomfortable but okay and things get bad. If 76,000 breaks, the next support is 74,500. And if that breaks, Michael van de Pope said this week that we would likely cascade through the lows and retest below 65k. That's the risk case. I'm saying it clearly because you need to know it. Recovery path on the other hand, 76,000 holds. We reclaim 78k, then we push back toward 81k. That's the base case. Now the on-chain data, because the 170 million panic sell is scary. But there's a reason it might actually be good news. Real quick, whatever happens on these levels, you want to be set up and ready. I use Bitunix, no KYC. Deposit takes 2 minutes. Link in the description and pinned in the comments, by the way. Okay, the on-chain data. And I want to give you the honest version of both signals. Now, short-term holders, people who bought Bitcoin in the last 155 days, sent over 10,000 Bitcoin to Binance at a loss on Monday. That's $770 million worth. Their average purchase price was $78,440. Bitcoin was at $76,900 when they sold. They ate a 2% loss just to get out. Crypto quant analyst Amir Taha described it as short-term holder stress for selling or capitulation from weaker hands. Now, here's the thing about this. It sounds terrible, and in the short term, it does add selling pressure. But capitulation from short-term holders has historically been a precursor to a bottom forming. The weak hands leave, the coins move to stronger holders, and the selling pressure dries up. A similar event happened in mid-November 2025. Short-term holders panic sold into a dip. Bitcoin dropped 15% in 5 days after that and then recovered. So the short-term pain from this could still play out. But it also marks a clearing event. Now, Glassnode reported that 7.8 million Bitcoin are currently held at a loss. Here's what that means. Out of roughly 19.8 million Bitcoin in circulation, 7.8 million of them are owned by people who paid more the current price. That's a big number, and Glassnode said directly the market needs to absorb this supply overhang before any sustained move higher becomes structurally credible. That's the honest picture. There's a lot of supply sitting above us from people waiting to break even. That is a ceiling on any rally until it gets absorbed. The momentum picture backs this up. Glassnode's momentum indicator fell 29% in 1 week from 66.7 to 47.1. Swissblock said momentum is losing force with every bounce. And analyst Axel Adler said that the slow impulse indicator has turned negative for the first time since April. All 3 independent sources saying the same thing, momentum is fading. But here's the one thing in this data that is actually bullish, and it's hiding inside the HODL wave data. Here's the one genuinely positive signal. The HODL wave indicator, which tracks who owns Bitcoin and how long they've held it, it's showing something important. The long-term holder base is thicker than it has been at any previous cycle bottom. More Bitcoin is sitting in the hands of people who have held for years and have no intention of selling at these prices. Crypto quant analyst Sunny Mom said this directly. The supply structure is structurally stronger in the current cycle than before, and the predicted bottom range based on this data is 65,900 to 70,500. If 70,500 holds, the analyst says we will slowly grind out a bottom in the upper range. So the structure underneath is stronger even if the short-term picture is messy, and that matters. Before my take, Bitunix is where I trade, by the way. No KYC, get founded before the levels move. Link is in the description and pinned in the comments, by the way. Now, here's where I actually stand. The data is uncomfortable right now. 5 red candles, momentum falling 29% in a week, 770 million in short-term panic selling, 7.8 million Bitcoin underwater, ETF outflows 6 out of the last 8 days. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but here's what I'm doing. I'm watching 76,000 like a hawk. That is the 50-day SMA. That is the line every analyst is pointing to. It holds. I hold my position and watch for a recovery to 78,000 and then 81k. If it breaks, I wait for 74,500 to 72k before adding. And if we get the full flush to 65k to 70k, that's where my dry powder goes in size. The hodl wave bottom range, strongest long-term holder base in history, sitting right there. What I'm not doing is panic selling at 77k into the same demand zone where the real buyers are sitting. The only level that matters right now, 76,000, hold it or don't. Let me know what you think in the comments, by the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.